another variable t, one more variable a. All these are going to be input variables, and d, which is going to be the output variable. Now your u, t and a can be of type integer, but d should be of type float because you have half means 0.5. When you are multiplying any number by a fractional number or a real number, then it is going to give you the answer in fractions, that is it is going to maintain decimal point. So d should be of type float. Okay, so we will do the necessary declarations and we will write this program. Alright, what do we do at the initially what do we do? We write the command. Because if you try to store this here, this old value which is present in variable b, which is 20, it will get overwritten. It will get replaced with the value 10. Then how will you store 20 here? It's gone. For example, this is 20 now. Suppose I transfer this value here, this will get overwritten as 10. Now where is my 20? I don't have 20. How can I store it here? You people are understanding? So the problem that we are swapping is that we try to exchange the values and directly try to store them inside another variable. That variable will get, overwritten and the original value will be lost. Okay? So to avoid that, the general logic is to make use of one more variable called as a temporary variable. We call it as temp. Initially this value of temp is empty. We use this as a temporary variable so that for the time being we can store this value here, then we can exchange. Alright? So what are we going to do? We are going to take this temporary variable which is initially empty, transfer this value here. So what is this value? 10. So whatever is the value of A that is transferred to 10, that becomes 10. Now, in A we can store the value of B. Okay? So directly we will assign the value of B to A. When we assign the value of B to A, this will become 20. Alright? Now I can replace this here. In value of B I can store 10. So this will get overwritten and this will become 20. So now both the values we didn't lose because one of the values we copied it to a temporary variable. We call that temporary variable as temp, and that is how we were able to exchange the two values. This if we understand, then we can write a program. Basically in this program we are going to make use of assignment variable, assignment operator. You know which is the assignment operator, isn't it? The assignment operator in C is equal to. With the help of equal to operator, whatever is stored in first variable can be assigned to second and vice versa. So we can swap two numbers with the help of taking a temporary variable and making use of the assignment operator. Okay? Let us see how we can do this. So we'll write the program. On top you write the comment, you will say program to swap two numbers. Alright? How are we going to swap two numbers? We are going to first write the hash include statement and link the header file stdio.h. Then we are going to write the main, and in the main we will declare the variables. How many variables are we going to require? We are going to require 3 variables. Let's call the first variable as A, second variable as B, and third variable as M. Okay? Now we want two inputs from the user, the two numbers A and B. So we'll give a message on the screen and we'll say enter two numbers. Whatever is the first number that we want to assign to A and the second number in B. Now both A and B are of type integer, so I'm going to write %D, double quotes, then give a comma, then ampersand A, comma, ampersand B. Alright, value of A and B will be stored. Now what do? We start exchanging. Now we have this temporary variable which is initially empty. In this we will assign the value of A. So temp is equal to temp we are assigning the value of A. In A we want to store the value of B. So I'll say A is equal to B. And in B we are going to store whatever is there in temp. So we'll say temp is equal to B. Okay. Now just before this we'll display one statement. We'll say printf before swapping we are going to